Here's some straight ahead dominant 7 chords that you can use to play blues. I'm showing them in context of clustering or position shifting, so you can change keys really easily. Alright, to start things off, playing in the open position of E, or in the key of E. Many of you already know this E dominant 7 chord, really quite straight ahead. The 4 chord, or A dominant 7, another straight ahead chord. The 5 chord, a B7. Alright, pretty straight ahead and simple. Now, if I wanted to change keys or shift, let's say I want to play in the key of G. Well, I know that this is a G on my low E string. We're going to start off with this bar chord shape. Alright, so what's essentially happening is I'm replacing the nut with my index finger, and that's why it's called a bar chord. I'm playing across all strings with my index finger. Alright, so that's my 1 chord, or a G dominant 7. The 4 chord I know is going to be a C dominant 7. And I'm also going to play a bar chord right here for the 4 chords. So I'm essentially replacing the nut position with my index finger. Alright, and the 5 chord, using this same B dominant 7 shape that I started off with in the key of E, I'm just going to slide it up to my 5 chord, which is going to be a D dominant 7 in the key of G. Alright, so that's a nice little cluster. The 1, the 4, and the 5. This is a good cluster right here. The 1, the 4, and the 5. Alright, so you can play that in various positions. Now, as we get up higher on the neck, it starts getting a little tough sounding to be playing bar chords, especially with an acoustic guitar. Bar chords, and really the body of the guitar is going to get in the way of these chords. So that's where I'm going to start thinking about starting off my 12 bar progression using the root on the 5th string. Alright, so for example, in the key of C, I could play a really straight ahead C dominant 7 chord as my 1. We already talked about that chord, sliding it all the way up, so here it is. It's my 1 chord. My 4 chord is an F dominant 7. Well, I find it right here as that bar chord shape again. And I know the 5 in the key of C is a G dominant 7. Well, I would simply move it up 2 frets. Alright, so that's a really easy way of maintaining a pretty compact cluster. Alright, so what about playing in the key of E using this same idea? Well, here's my E dominant 7 chord using that B7 shape. It's my 1 chord, right? My 4 chord is an A dominant 7. I find one right here. Right, that's the 1, and here's the A dominant 7. And I know my 5 chord is going to be a B dominant 7. The closest bar chord, maintaining that same shape, is just moving up 2 frets. Here it is. That's the 4, and here's the 1. Alright, so that allows me to play in any key, using those same 3 chords, using that fairly easy to memorize cluster shape position, using these simple dominant 7 chords to play some blues.